Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Tina and Anderson Show, episode 22.
We're going to be counting
Yeah.
always. It'd be
Episode
like
22.
Episode 110.
Yeah. And until we're sick of it, which I
Yeah.
don't know if we ever will, but yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. This is Tina and Anderson Show. We're husband and wife. This is my wife, Tina. I'm Anderson, and we talk about family, marriage, parenting, and we speak against feminism and the red pill.
Faith.
Yep, we talk mostly about faith because that we feel that is the best way to live your marriage traditionally, the way God intended.
Period.
Amen. All right. So today we're gonna watch a couple of TikTok videos. We got a couple of stats that we're gonna go through, and we're gonna read a couple of responses that I've gotten from a reel that I posted, which was a clip from from our last episode. So it triggered some people, which mostly our clips to our podcast usually does. But it kind of ties in with what we're talking about today. Like last week, we were talking about mostly about feminism in the church. And today we're mostly going to talk about like gender roles and how, how it's affecting some people. And we're going to go through some stats about it. And it's, gender roles are really pushed against it. People are really pushing against gender roles. People, society, media.
They're just trying
to switch it up.
Defy the status quo.
It's mostly where they're trying to make women men and men women. And you could say, no, they're not. I mean, it's going on where women are being elevated to work more, where men are being pushed to do more of the household, taking care of the children. I mean, we're going to read you some stuff that kind of backs up what we're talking about. A lot of this stuff, I mean, we do have a lot of opinions. We have a lot of opinions on a lot of our stuff, but our opinions are literally based on what we believe to be true. Basically what's in the Bible, going by statistics. It's not just by how we feel. Well, I feel like this. No, we feel that way because we've seen how it works. We've gone through statistics. We've read the Bible. We believe that the Bible is the blueprint. So a lot of our opinions are backed up by a lot of those things. So you're going to see a lot of that stuff what we're going to go through, it's kind of backed up by what we're saying.
Yeah, usually it starts with there's a topic.
Yeah.
And then we we'll give each other our opinion on that topic. And then here we are looking up the statistics on that topic.
Right.
And, any kind of news source or anything like that. So it starts off normally as well, this is my opinion on that. What do you think?
And when I look up statistics, I usually try to make sure it's a reliable source.
Very hard these days.
And I'm not good at researching. I mean, I've started researching mostly during this when we started doing this podcast. But I'm not good. I don't really know where to look. I'm just Googling away until I find something where I think it's really from a reliable source. Now, it could be wrong. I don't know. But based on what I have seen in other statistics supports those statistics I look at. So I feel like it's kind of
more than one.
Yeah. So I try to do my best here because, obviously we're going to get better and better and better as we go on. And one of the things I haven't really talked to Tina about this, but one of the things I'm going to try to really work on is time management, is kind of make time during the week where I kind of sit down and research for the podcast, get it ready ahead of time. Cause there is a lot of times I'm doing things last minute, which is not good. It's not good. I should be prepared ahead of time. Cause if we're going to take this seriously, I should start doing things like that. So, there's things I'm going to start doing, and hopefully doing it that way and dedicating time will make me better and better, where I'm not rushing. I'm not trying to do it last minute. Look, these statistics, I didn't most of them I didn't look up last minute. A lot of the stuff I already knew I was going to put in here, but there were some things I usually look up last minute. But, like I said, moving forward, just trying to get better. You know what I mean? And also, I don't know, for all of you, for those who consistently watch our podcast, I know you kind of see the angle is different, like every episode, because we're trying to figure out the best. The focus, sometimes it's better than not. I have to change the focus every time, where when I have it focused on a certain setting, next episode, I might have to change it. So right now it looks pretty good.
Well, it's because we have to break this all down and then set it back up. If we could leave it up, then it would be untouched.
Yeah.
And then we would just, use it again.
Right.
And again and again. But like we have to keep breaking it down and setting it back up. So we have to redo all the settings every time.
And I have a Lumix camera, which is, which is one of the best, but it's kind of old. I think I bought this during the pandemic. I think maybe. I don't know. It's like I bought it like 3 or 4 years ago, but it was already like 4 years old. So this is probably like a 7-8 year old camera. So
it does the job,
Yeah, it does. And we're just trying to get better. But I appreciate the few viewers that we do have that still consistently watch us.
Hey, we have more than a few.
Well, I mean, we do have people watching our podcast because I see the views every week. Obviously we want it to grow. We're trying to get better, but hey, I try, I don't know about you, I try not to compare myself to other podcasts, because I know there are podcasts that blow up. They were probably just naturally good at it. They just had a background.
But they blew up when? A year after starting, or
no? There's some people that blow up right away.
You don't necessarily even know their past.
Right. When if like in 2 years we have like a TikTok clip that goes viral that brings so many viewers to our channel, there might be people who be like, wow, they just started. They might feel like we just started because they just heard of us.
Like,
but we've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But just like anybody who does content, or anybody that starts a business, anybody that starts something new, we like doing this. So we're doing it because we like it. Do we know that we could make money from it one day? Yes. That would be really cool. But we do it because we like it, and we just want to share this with people. And for me personally, knowing that there is a lot of people getting value from what we talk about, to me, I feel that would be more rewarding than any type of money we could make doing this. You know what I mean? So I have a pretty good full-time job, so it's not like I need the money. So, but we just like doing this. We talk, like we said before, we talk about this anyways.
Yeah, we're having conversations
Why not do a podcast,
anyways. Yeah.
And we do get a lot of support, like people like telling us like, I like what you talk about. This is great. We do get that. We do get the occasional support. So that's great. So this is our living room. So you can see one of the pictures of our daughter right there. She's a lot older than that now. And 2003, that's the year we were married. So so this is an old couch that my wife been wanting to replace.
I can't wait. And
but there are other things in the house that take precedent.
Yes.
So let's start. I think we're gonna go through a couple of TikTok videos first. We're going to watch those, talk about those, and then we're going to read some stats, something that Tina caught on the news that she sent me a picture of it, and talk about. And then the last thing we're going to go through is just some comments that we received from a TikTok video clip from our last podcast. So we're going to go do this one first. Here we go.
You believe that men and women have roles.
Oh, yeah.
But I do believe that if he wants a sandwich,
you make daddy a sandwich.
Most of the time.
No? Okay, let me ask you this. If me and you out and somebody say something slick to you,
you punch him in the face.
You want me to smack him in his mouth, right?
That's right.
So if I take you on a date and I say, look, baby, we gonna go Dutch.
No.
Exactly. If we walking up to the car and I don't open your car door, what do you say?
Open the door.
You better believe it.
Yeah, I am with you. I think.
So you make daddy a sandwich.
I think. I will.
If I'm outside cutting that grass, bring daddy some lemonade.
Yeah, so this is a famous clip.
I love that clip.
That went viral. That's Anthony Mackie, who is the new Captain America in the new Marvel movies, but also played Falcon, and he's been in on a lot of other famous actor. And it went viral because it's so true. Because
true.
It's like you women. A lot of the women see this is going to gender roles. A lot of the women expect certain things from us. Opening the car door, if somebody says something to you, you want us to protect you. Women wants to feel safe when they're with their man. That's a big thing, right? They want to feel safe. We were watching Love on a Spectrum, and it's fascinating to a lot of people. But we do have a daughter who has an intellectual disability. She did get tested for autism, so a lot of the characteristics she has is a lot like kids with autism. So we watched that. And even the women on there with autism say they feel safe. They want to feel safe with the guy that they're with. It's a natural thing. A woman wants to feel safe with her man. So women expect these things from the man, and all we ask is for a sandwich. And you heard it in the beginning. Well, sometimes. Why sometimes? He's like, well, what do you, if I do this, you expect this. If I do this, expect this. If I'm out there cutting the grass, would be nice if you give me a lemonade if I'm out there in the hot sun cutting the grass so our lawn could look nice.
While I'm sitting in the AC.
Yeah. I mean, this is just small. Like, what's harder? Mowing the lawn, possibly fighting some guy who's saying something bad to you, or making a sandwich and bringing out a cup of lemonade.
I think it's just pointing out that, like, men just want respect.
Yeah.
And there are so many ways that you can show your man respect. And the whole sandwich thing is just trying to point out how small the gesture can be to show your man respect.
Right.
Because when you show your man respect, he receives it as love.
Yeah.
Because they see them as the same thing. Respect and love, they see them as the same thing. If you show him respect, you're also showing him love. So it's like the sandwich thing is just showing like how small of a gesture, and so many women fight against it. Like, I'm making you a sandwich. What's wrong with your hands? You can't make your own sandwich? Like, no, he could. But honestly, for all that he does for you, you should want to make him a sandwich. This is what I don't understand. I want to see you happy. Mm-hmm. I want to see the stress like fall off your shoulders when you walk in here. Like, this is what I want to see. I want to see you rested. I want to see you sleep good, you know, and like they're the tiniest little thing. It's so simple. Men are simple. How many times have you heard that? Men are simple, and it's extremely true, because it's like a tiny thing that just shows him such massive respect, and they receive it as love.
Yeah. I mean, you ever hear like this meme or GIF or a TikTok video or whatever, where it's a guy where a girl is crying because after getting 7 compliments that day, she didn't get the 8th compliment that she wanted. But then you see a guy smiling because he remembers the little old lady calling him handsome 6 years ago.
No, I haven't seen that video.
I mean, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Where,
it's a small thing.
Yeah. There was this, I listened to this guy, Taylor the Fiend, on YouTube a lot. And he reviews a lot of great stories. He's a red pill guy. He doesn't believe in marriage, you know, but I liked a lot of the stories. I like how he tells stories. He has a really good voice for it. And a lot of the stories he tells is very interesting. These are true stories. So there was one woman where a guy was married, and the guy was very wealthy. They had a nice house, nice cars. They went on trips. They had a good life. Financially, they had a good life, and he treated her well, and he loved her very much. But she wanted out because she wanted more. She wanted more.
We're
mean,
we're growing apart.
you
I
got-
need more.
You got women out there that would kill for a life like that. And then she's just like, she's living the dream. She doesn't have to work. Her husband has a successful business. They go on beautiful trips together, and he loves the heck out of her. But she wanted more.
And then when she doesn't have him, she'll
she
notice,
had
like you don't know what you have until you've lost it.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
that
the
whole thing.
result was they ended up getting divorced. She didn't get nothing, and she ended up living with her parents. So she ended up getting less, a lot less.
A lot less.
But it's just I'm just saying is that it's a lot of hard for the modern woman. It's very hard for the modern woman to be content and be satisfied. It's very hard for a modern
Well,
woman.
especially with social media, where like comparison is just part of your everyday life, like all day.
Right.
Like you're comparing your life to other people's lives, but then everybody will tell you like social media is a lie.
Right.
Like it's so fake. You're only seeing like all the good stuff about Tom and Sarah's marriage or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you're only seeing all the good stuff. They're putting up
Yeah.
all the good stuff. So and then you're sitting there comparing your marriage to that, and it's not even realistic.
Yeah, which you
And
should
it's-
never do.
It's all day long if you want it to be.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be on social media all day, you could be, and you're just going to be sitting there comparing and comparing and comparing, and then your husband is constantly coming up short in your head.
That's the worst thing you can do is compare your marriage to
Yeah,
other marriages.
it's poison.
It's the worst thing. I know. It's I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, there's so many things I would love to do that other couples do, but we can't, and we're like okay with that. I mean, we still get to do great things. We had a great weekend up in Maine. We know couples that go to Mexico.
Yeah,
you know?
that just like break away for the
But
weekend
we
and
don't.
go to like
we
Cancun.
don't. We are content with going to Maine. We love the ocean there. It's a beautiful ocean. It's beautiful up there, and we feel relaxed when we go up there. I mean, that's our place. We don't fly anywhere. We've been to the Bahamas. Would I love to go there one day? Yeah, and I think we will. But until that time, we're happy going to Maine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful up there
Yeah.
for us, So I mean, and we know a lot of people that go to Maine. We know a lot of people. So
It's most New England people
Yeah.
go
Most
to Maine.
Massachusetts people go to Maine.
Massachusetts go to Maine.
and the Mainers
Either
are
that
like,
or the
"Ugh."
Cape. You're either a Cape person or you're a Maine person.
Yeah, we're not Cape people.
We're not Cape people.
No, we go to Maine. We want to get out of the state. At least get out of the state.
Much love to the
I
Cape
don't-
lovers,
I don't
but
feel
we
like-
ain't one of them.
I don't feel like it's vacation if I'm vacationing in my own state, especially Massachusetts. It's a tiny state.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if you live in northern Texas and then you go down
to
to
the
southern
Cape.
Texas.
Yeah.
Southern Texas, because it's so huge. Or if you live in Northern California and then you vacation in Southern California, okay, I get it. But we're tiny. So we got to get out of this. I mean,
Yeah.
even going to Maine.
It's only 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So I think that it's a good clip. It's a funny clip, but it's so
but it
it's
makes
so true.
a very true
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it makes you think. Like,
Yeah.
and it's pointing out like how small of a thing it could be
Yeah.
that like would make your man happy, but also how small the thing could be that women push back against, like refuse to do. Like
Yeah.
find it insulting that her man asked her, "Can you make me a sandwich?"
Yeah, like if your man
Like-
is out there, I mean, not just mowing the lawn, if he's out there building you a deck or if he's out there building you your garden, and you just bring him out some refreshments, huge for him. It's huge. Just small things. All right, let's go on to the next video.
So you're telling me that a woman has to go work like a man every day, and a man goes work and he's tired when he gets home. A woman's not tired. She has to clean, cook, do the dishes, do the laundry. Are you kidding me?
Why don't you want to do that?
What are you talking about? Why don't I want to? You know how tiring that is? Have you done that?
First of
Have you
all,
done that?
I do it every day.
first of all, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman.
So you don't want to
Wait,
be a
pause.
woman.
I just
No,
let
you
you
don't
talk.
want to
I
be
just
a
let you talk.
woman.
Yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. It's a sign of low intelligence. You can lower your voice and speak to me. I'm sitting right here. I can hear you.
And you're yelling.
So all this, I cook and I clean, and yeah, that's part of your function. But when your tire is flat, my function is to make sure you have a new tire.
But
when
that's
your
what
car
I'm
need
saying.
an oil change, it's my job to make sure these people ain't ripping you off. We have different duties and functions.
The music was really loud on
Yeah, sorry guys. So for those who are listening, that was kind of all over the place. So I'm gonna lower this. I'm gonna kind of play it again without the music, and I'm just gonna kind of read what's
I
going on.
have to listen to that again.
Yeah, we're gonna read what's going on. So this woman, let me get here. Whoops. What's going on here? Hold on one second, guys.
What'd you do?
I'm just trying to get to. I was just trying to see if I can control the settings on it.
Oh boy, you're gonna mess it up.
No.
That's what we do. We mess it up.
Oh, here we go. All right. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to bring this back. So basically, you got this woman who's being really loud, right?
Can't see you. Where are you? There you are.
You know what? Let me move this. I think the way we have the camera, we're offset.
Yeah, we're a little off
Yeah.
center.
All right. So you got this woman here who's like yelling. This is from a podcast, and she's just yelling. And she says, so you're telling me that a woman has to go to work like a man every day, and a man goes to work and he's tired, and when he gets home, and a woman's not tired, she has to clean, cook, do the dishes, do the laundry. Are you kidding me? Right? That's what she's saying. She's like, so a man has to go to work. I mean, we both have to go to work, but when I come home, I got to do this, this, and this. And then there's another woman on the podcast. She goes, why wouldn't you want to do that? Basically, like, why would a woman not want to do that for her man? Just like a man would come home from a hard days at work and can finish building the garden for you, building the deck, fixing the faucet that broke, looking at the dishwasher that's not looking really well, maybe finishing painting that room, taking the car to go get an oil change. I mean, there's always so many things that a man can do. Or taking the kids from you so you can have peace while you cook dinner for everybody. I mean, there's so many things. The guy most men do not just come home, plop, and do nothing for the rest of the night. Most men don't do that. So she's like, what are you talking about? Why don't you know, she's like, what's that mean? She goes, have you done that? Have you done that for your guys? She's asking. So the woman who said, why wouldn't you want to do that? The other woman says, have you done that? And then the guy says, the guy says, fellas, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman. So she goes, so you don't want to.
Honey, this is more all over the place.
I know. So she says, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman. So you don't want to. Yeah, so she kept just talking over him.
And
She just kept talking over him and yelling. Sorry, guys. I think when I was watched the video, I think I remember seeing this video somewhere else, and I thought, oh, this would be a good one. Not realizing it looked like there was two songs playing at once.
Yeah.
So, but basically, this woman was just mad.
She's screaming about having to do household chores. This is like what's crazy to me is that you live together as a family and your household isn't going anywhere. So if you work, he works, both of you work, the household chores aren't going anywhere. And then we try to point out that men and women kind of fall naturally into certain roles when it comes to running the household and keeping up with the household. And she's yelling and screaming because she works all day, and when she comes home, she has to do the cooking and the cleaning and maybe the kids.
Right.
But I mean, it doesn't say anything about what he has to do when he comes home. I'm sure he's doing a bunch of stuff too. This is what I'm saying. He's doing his stuff. She has to do her stuff. And she's screaming about it. And I mean, for us, that is one of the main reasons why we both chose for me to stay home.
Right.
The household doesn't take care of itself.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's both of you are going to be doing things that women forget that, because like men don't come home and start cooking and cleaning and doing the kid, blah, 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 but they're doing other stuff too that keeps up with the household. Hopefully, we are fully aware that there can be men who literally don't help at all, but there can also be women who literally don't help at all. So
right. And
it can go both extremes. It can go both ways.
Right. So I think the woman that's yelling and screaming, I bet you if she was married and her and her husband, like she's saying, I have to work. Like, you don't have to work. I mean, most men would be okay if their wife stays home, even if they have to struggle. We struggled when she started. When she started staying home,
We struggled.
I was making like $12 an hour.
Yeah, we struggled.
We struggled.
But we saw the value in me staying home.
Yeah,
both of us.
So most men would be okay with that. So anyways, so if she's saying we have, if we both work, say if she was married and they both worked, and then she comes home and does the cooking, the cleaning, and the dishes, right? No, say if they had no kids, she would probably just sit there and be fuming at him and not ask him for help. Now, because she's probably sitting here thinking, look, he just thinks I'm a slave and I'm just going to... Look, men don't think that way. Men are just thinking like, oh, she got it. There are some men who will be like, hey, babe, let me help you. But most of the time when guys aren't helping, it's not because he's sitting there thinking this is her job. I mean, if you ask him for help, like, hey, babe, can you help me clear the dish? Can you help me clear the table? While I just run the dishes through the water, can you just put them in the dishwasher for me? I mean, if you ask the guy for help, most of the time they are. And if you have kids, and be like, hey, can you just be with the baby, just watch the baby if she needs anything while I cook? I mean, that's not a bad thing to ask. And most men will be like, yeah. Obviously, if your woman is cooking dinner, you want her to not be bothered either. Let her cook the dinner. So you'd be like, hey, your mom's cooking dinner. What do you need? What do you need? Come and ask me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just some communication there, and just talk to him instead of just sitting there being mad. I bet you that's what she would do.
She's combative.
Yeah.
I think that it's crazy that okay, she's saying that it gets her, clearly she's saying it gets her mad that women have to work all day and then come home and do the kids and the dinner and the cleaning.
Yeah.
So she basically is saying that she thinks that the man should come home and do all of that. So either way, somebody is working all day and then has to come home and then continue working.
Yeah.
And she's saying it should be him. But what would she be doing if he came home and he was the one who liked to cook, so he's cooking and the kids? What is she doing?
Yeah, if she married a guy who came home, cooked and cleaned, this woman here would probably never ask him for help, to ask him if he needs help. She'll probably just sit there and be relaxed, like, I got a good man. He comes home and he cooks and cleans for me. I don't have to do nothing.
Yeah,
But
like,
if a man said that,
yeah,
torn apart. He'd
Yeah.
be torn apart.
yeah, it's. I mean, so either way, she's saying that it's wrong for society to think that women should work all day and then come home and take care of the house.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, she's saying that it's perfectly fine for the man to work all day and come home and have to take care of the household. So like, huh? But then she'd probably be the first one to say like, oh, men and women are equal. Huh?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does not.
That's why you like divide and conquer, really. I
Yeah.
mean, when you both work, I mean, along the way, along your marriage, if you're paying attention, you're going to figure out what works, you know, and then you just get into a routine. It just happens naturally,
Yeah.
you know? So whatever works, works. I mean, for us, like we've said many times in many other videos, we are extremely traditional. I like to cook. He does not. So if we both worked, I'd be coming home and I'd be cooking.
Yeah.
I like to cook. I'm better at it. He is not. So
Terrible.
it's
Mac and cheese out of the box.
not even. I don't even know what you would make. You'd be ordering pizza. That's what you'd be doing. So like for us, that's how it falls.
Yeah.
Maybe your husband likes to cook. So you both work, you come home, he starts cooking, you take care of the kids. You know, like it's literally divide and conquer, and however it falls, it falls. For us, it falls like this. And it works extremely well for us, so that's why we share. That's why we share. And that like a woman like this, I mean, like he said, just because you're screaming doesn't make you right.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand that. I have to be really loud, and if I'm really loud, that means that I'm making my point and everybody agrees.
Right.
Like no. She's being the example of what men dislike.
She was the only one angry in that video.
The other woman's like, why wouldn't you want to do things for your husband that make him happy? He does things to make you happy, and you're screaming because you don't think that you should do things for your husband that makes him happy. Like it makes no sense. It makes no
Right.
sense, and it's very selfish. It's very selfish.
It is. It is.
So.
Unfortunately, she's probably gonna be single for a very long time, if not probably forever.
Well, because she's trying to have the male, the husband role in the relationship. That's what happens, and you end up pushing back on each other, and she's gonna be in competition
Yeah.
with her husband to be the man in the relationship, and that's never gonna work.
So you were just talking about how she said like she'd want the man to do all that stuff, you know, not her. So you were you at the gym?
What?
And you took a picture of that TV
of
screen.
this thing? Yeah.
Yeah. So Tino, were you at the gym?
It might have been in
Or at
like on social media, and I took a snapshot.
okay. So this is a picture of a
Maybe.
TV screen from
I
MSNBC,
forget.
and they were showing some stats about, I think it was gender roles. So I don't know where they pull these stats from, but here it is right here. So as you can see, it says roles of men and women in U.S. household. Who is more likely to do each of the following? So laundry is 58% of men, 13% of women. So cleaning the house, 51% of men, 9% of women. Care for child on a daily basis, 50% of men, 7% of women.
I don't know where.
Grocery shop, 45%, 18% of men, 18% women. And washing dishes, 42% men, 19% women.
Yeah, not this household.
I mean, it really,
We don't know the source that MSNBC used to find this. I mean, what does that say? Gallup?
it's a Gallup poll. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't.
So-
Where the heck? Who did they poll?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of men a lot of men who are single and live on their own, they're doing all that stuff. I mean, for care for children, if they're a single dad.
Well, it says households. So these are like men and women that live together, I would assume.
Right. So I mean, if
That's
this is true, why are women complaining? Why are these women complaining if this is true? I don't think it's true. But if it is, why are women complaining? 58%. Like, look at these. Laundry, cleaning, care for children. That's 50% or more of households. That's mostly men. Mostly men are doing laundry. Mostly men are cleaning the house.
I wish it went further in this and said, like, the percentage of people that they both work. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they both working and then both have to take care of the household chores? You know?
So I don't know if this is what's actually going on, but this is saying who is more likely to do each of it. So 58% of men are more likely to do laundry, where 13% of women are. So what's so 58% plus 13, that's 71. Who's the other 29%? The children?
Yeah.
You know, so I just, when you sent this to me and I was reading this, I was like,
I was like, I'm so confused.
This is a pretty interesting, you know, I don't think this is a stat. This is probably a poll because it's Gallup. They do polls. So this is a Gallup poll. So they probably asked, you know, 1,000 men and 1,000 women. I don't know. It doesn't. It's just from a screenshot. So
yeah, I don't know the other details.
We don't know, but we thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because then, you know, women will, you know, complain about the patriarchy. Like, oh, well, the patriarchy's doing your laundry, apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's so funny because I don't think women, if this was true, if this was happening, a lot more women would be upset. Because if the men are doing most of the stuff, they're either not working as much as the woman or they're not working and the woman's working. She's the breadwinner. She's going to be working the long hours. You know, so, but actually, before we go to the next screen, I think there was this article that I found that I just want to read a little bit about it. So there's this woman, she's a middle-aged career woman, and she talks about the lies of feminism that she learned too late. So I'm going to read a couple of things that she said. So this woman's name is Denise, and she's 50 years old, and she has a 4-year degree. Four college.
Four degrees.
4 college degrees. 4. It's a lot of student loans. So she said, I was raised by a feminist mother with no father in the home. See, this is the thing. Statistically, single mothers raise single mothers. Feminist mothers raise feminist daughters. It's statistically, it's how that happens. Yep. So my mother told me to get an education to the maximum level so you can get out in the world and make a lot of money. And that's the path I followed. I make adequate money. I don't make a ton of money, but I make enough to support my own household. Right? So she's doing well. She can support herself. She don't need no man. She got the money, right?
No man.
So she says, I want to tell women in their 20s, do not follow the path I followed. You are leading yourself to a life of loneliness. All of your friends will be getting married and having children, and you're working to compete in the world. And what you are doing is competing with men. Men don't like competitors. Men want a partner. All right. There are men that like to compete, but I think what she means here, they don't want to compete with their woman. Yeah. Why would I want to compete with my wife? We're in this together.
Yeah.
Why she's doing better than me, or I'm doing, like, for example, when we post clips from our podcast, if she gets way more views on hers than me, I'm not going to be mad because we're not competing, because it benefits both of us because it's a clip from our podcast that we are trying to get out there.
Yeah.
So there's no competition there. If she was trying to compete with me, I was just like, why are
You
we
have
competing?
to like you have to fight that though, because I remember at the beginning I was getting frustrated because I'd be like, well, first off, like my TikTok was brand new, like I was building it from like nothing,
Right.
And you had already like established like TikTok, whatever. But I remember being like so frustrated that I couldn't get my numbers up to, and then you said to me at one point, why does it matter? Your TikTok is my TikTok and my TikTok is your TikTok. Like
Yeah.
yours benefits me and mine benefits you.
Right.
We're both sharing the same content.
yeah.
So my views are your views and your views are my views. So it's like you get wrapped up in like numbers and competition.
Right.
And you're like, wait
mean,
a
if-
minute. What am I doing?
If
what am
her
I
view
doing?
got 10,000 views,
Yeah.
I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, that's freaking awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like when she got stitched, she was more upset. I was happy.
I was mad. I was
So it
mad.
says men want a partner. I think what they're trying to say here, men want somebody to live a life with. We don't like the word partner.
hate the
If
word
you guys
partner.
don't know us yet. It took me until my 40s to realize this. So she says, she continues here, and by the time you have your own household with all your own bills, you can't get off the track because now you got to make the money, pay the bills. It's hard to find someone in your late 40s to date because you also start losing self-confidence about your looks and your body. It's not the same as it was in your 20s.
Yeah, you're getting older.
You try to do what you can to make your life fulfilling. Yeah, exactly. So a man in his 40s who's single has no problem dating a woman in his 30s. Now, there are men. The red pill says a man in his 40s can date a girl that's 20. They're both adults. I'm not going to judge a man who's 40 dating a woman that's 20. I just don't know how that can happen, how you can have anything in common. You've lived at that time. You've lived twice the life she's lived. But I digress. Don't want to go that far into it. But anyways, so it is hard for a woman in her 40s to date a guy because also women in their 40s, they're picky. Especially if they're in good shape and they're good looking, they think they can get the best looking guy. But a guy can also get a 35-year-old that's good looking and it's younger and she's younger. So she says, it's not the same as it is when you're 20. You try to do what you can to make your life fulfilling. I have cats and dogs. She's a cat lady.
This cat lady.
But it's lonely when you see your friends having children, going on vacation, planning the lives of their children, and you don't do anything at night but come home to your cats and dogs. I don't want other women to have what I have. So it's yeah, because look, when you're in your
Giving a
20s,
perspective, yeah.
I think all right, a lot of women when you're in your 20s, they like to go to the club, they like to party. I'm pretty sure a lot of women in their 40s don't like to do that anymore. They want to live a nice, quiet life, come home and settle in with your spouse, maybe watch TV, maybe plan a nice trip,
Watch
maybe
a movie.
go out for coffee or go to a nice restaurant.
Things
that
start
just
to
opened
settle
up.
down.
Things like that. So you're not so it gets more lonely because you're not out. And how are you going to hang out with your girlfriends? Because most of your girlfriends are married. They have families.
Married with kids.
A lot of women who are married and kids, they're not going out.
Well, it's the friend group where they're all single or divorced.
Yeah.
They'll go out.
Right. So the writer of this article asked, was it hard for you to make this call? She responds that it was. I wanted to be anonymous because I don't want people that I know to really know my true feelings. Okay, so she's anonymous in this article. So basically, it goes on and on here, but that's basically, this
That's
is a
the
woman.
brunt of it,
yeah,
yeah.
but this is a woman, a career woman, 4 degrees. That's impressive.
She spent
4
a
degrees.
lot of years in school.
In school,
It was probably
focusing on her career, and
like
she
one
says
degree after another.
she says she makes adequate money. So she does. So she maybe makes 80. She probably makes $80,000 to $120,000 a year, somewhere around there. But with 4 degrees, you think you'd be making over 200,000.
I know, right?
But
You'd
with
be
40,
like
she says
rolling in the
she
dough.
says I do pretty good.
I do all right.
You know, so but she can pay for her own house, pay for her own bills, have her own car, maybe take herself on vacation. So, which a lot of women.
So she
Like,
doesn't have
aspire
any
for that.
kids. She doesn't have any
No,
kids.
she doesn't have any kids, which
Yeah,
is
see,
which is
that's
good.
what she
Thank
and
God.
she's regretting. You know.
Yeah,
that,
because
like,
now she's in
that
her.
sh-
She's 50.
She was more career focused in her life.
Yeah.
Than she was focused on, settling down and
Yeah.
having a family and kids and creating a legacy.
Yeah, so her best bet is to either date a widow or a single father. And his kids won't be her kids. But she will be another woman in their life, and hopefully a good influence. Because by that time the kids might be adults and she's 50 years old. So whoever she dates, that guy's kids could be adults. And if the mother is still around, she's not gonna get she's not gonna get the dream of meeting a guy, starting a family, buying your first home together. That's gone for her.
Yeah,
Which a lot of women-
it's going to be written differently.
Right.
Like you said, if she were to find a guy that like he has kids, and that like maybe she, marries this guy, and then they buy the house together, and then she technically has the kids, but they're not really hers.
Right.
So it's like she could have a version of that. It's just like her story's written different.
She could be the step grandma.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is her life, and she's just warning other women. But unfortunately, I believe it's gonna fall on deaf ears, because having the career and having the Instagram life, the boss babe, it just seems more appealing to a lot of young women nowadays, which is sad.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously it does. When you're, when you have living the high life, you're staying at nice hotels and going on lavish vacations. Yeah, that's appealing. But behind the scenes,
all those
Not good.
things go away.
it does.
So
It does.
all those things fade, and,
So-
that kind of a lifestyle fades.
It does.
You can't be like the partier and the traveler. I mean, I know. A lot of people travel their whole life.
Right.
They just really love to travel or whatever. But I think everybody, even somebody who loves to travel, at some point slows down. At least,
Right.
At least,
It's so
you know?
crazy. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me where men have no problem finding a woman, marrying a woman while focusing on their career and building their business or building their career. Men don't have a problem with that. But what a lot of women, they feel like, if I'm building this career, if I'm building this business, I can't have a man.
Yeah, I'm focused on me.
But men can wait until they're 35 to find a woman and marry her. A woman can't. Women are just different that way. You can't build your business and build your career, and then at 35, you're like, now I want to build a family. It's just not how the way it is.
Yeah, because the guys
And
were
women-
looking for a wifey years ago.
Right. And
you
women
know?
don't want to, they don't want to accept that. They don't. And then they turn 35 and the dating pool stinks. And they're like, we're all the good men. And all the good men are like, we're married. That's where we
married.
are. There was a video.
Or
where-
they're like, I'm right here and you keep walking right by me.
Right. And there was a video of this girl. There was this TikTok video of this girl says, I want to find a good man. You know how I find a good man? He's with a woman. So I go and I take him from her.
The heck you do.
You do that if this guy who supposedly is a good guy leaves his woman for you.
You think he's not going to do
He's
it to
not
you?
a good guy
He's not a
anymore.
good guy.
He's not a good guy anymore.
No.
It
No.
just makes no sense.
Makes
The
no
logic
sense.
is crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to this next stat here. So this stat here is, I got this from I think from a Pew Research poll. Yeah, it was from Pew Research. It says many Americans say society is not accepting enough of men and women to take on roles usually associated with the opposite gender. So the percentage is saying that in general society is not accepting enough or too accepting
Or about right.
Right. So it says here, men taking on roles typically associated with women. 43% believe society is not accepting enough of men taking on roles.
Women's roles, you mean?
Yeah, men taking on women's roles, which I agree. You know, and 19% believe that society is too accepting of men taking on women's roles. All right, now for women taking on roles typically associated with men, 44% believe that society is not accepting enough of women taking on roles typically associated with men. And
So it's about the same.
yeah, about the same. And 19%, it's like the same people. 19% believe that society is too accepting. I really don't know what about right means. So, but that's just something I saw in the Pew Research of how a society is looking at gender roles. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so
Not
we've-
accepting enough.
yeah,
Sometimes I think we're too accepting.
yeah,
Because things are flipping and they're flipping pretty fast.
right.
So
All right, so this one I saw, I kind of forget which website this was from. Let me make this smaller because you can't really see me.
there
All
you go.
right.
That's good.
All right, it says here in 1984, right? So in the mid 80s, close to half of the public agreed a man's job is to earn money. A woman's job is to look after the home and the family. Now, just 13% subscribe to this view now. This decline is primarily a result of generational replacement, with consecutive generations being less supportive of traditional gender roles. So the rise of single mothers have definitely, believe has played a role into this, and feminism. Feminism telling women they can go to work, and because of that, taxes are higher. Things cost more because more people are working.
You get stuck
more
in
people are
that role
paying-
now.
More people are paying taxes.
A lot of women who work full time, and you know, both of them work full time. You're kind of pretty much stuck in it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because we both worked full time. You know,
Yeah, because we've said this before. You get used to both incomes,
both incomes,
and you live off of both incomes.
Yeah.
So say if you made what I made, our house will probably be twice as big,
Yeah.
cost twice as much.
Yeah.
And then if you decided to stay home, I'd be like, we can't live in this house anymore. I can't
We
support.
got to move.
I
So
can't.
you would have to make those sacrifices.
we'd
and a
have
lot
to
of people,
downsize.
we would have to majorly downsize.
Yeah.
We would probably have to move locations like kind of far away, you know, to like be able to get like that house that we can actually afford on one income. There would have to be a lot of things would have to be set in place to be able to make that switch. And a lot of
Right.
people are not willing to make those kinds of sacrifices.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
get stuck.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you
know?
do, and like she said, people don't want to make the sacrifices, whether they, they love the house they're in, so they don't want to give that up, or
location.
they just don't like how it would look to other people. Like, oh, they saw us down. People are gonna look down on us.
Oh, I thought they
And it's
had
like, who
money. They
cares?
don't have money. Like you.
Who cares
You
what
gotta
people
think.
think?
You gotta think of your family.
Like
and what's
our
best for your
house,
family.
our house, we're building it according to the way we want it. Like we've talked about, like our kitchen is clean, but it's old. It's clean. It's functional.
It's like a 70s kitchen.
Yeah, but we still gotta, we're gonna fix it up. But we're not embarrassed by it. There's a lot of things that need to work on it, and we're gonna fix it up. But it's not falling apart. It's not disgusting.
We're very proud of our house.
Yeah.
We
Well, it's our
worked-
first house.
Well, yeah, it's our first house. We worked really, 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 really hard to we had to do things that I don't think a lot of people had to do.
Yeah.
In order to, because a lot of people, I mean, just like around us, are just like, I think I'm going to buy a house. I might look into buying a house instead of renting. And then they just go do it. That is not how it
No,
was
that's not for us,
for us. We worked very, very hard to be able to get our very modest house, but it's modest, but it fits us perfectly.
Yeah. No, we like it. We like our
know?
house.
Beautiful
wrong.
neighborhood, safe neighborhood.
Oh, we got a great neighborhood.
Yeah, it's unbelievable neighborhood.
Yeah, so that I thought that was interesting how the decline of supporting women in the household. It's 49% to 13%, huge decline. It's not. It's funny because like I ran into, like I told you earlier, I ran
That was
into
in
like
the 80s. That was when my mom was a
Right.
stay-at-home mom.
right. I ran
Yeah.
into this video. There's videos going on TikTok and reels going on Instagram where it shows old videos from the 50s showing girls how to be housewives, right? And
Yeah, it's like a tutorial.
Modern women, modern feminism will say that was so oppressive, but the women were happy. A lot of women were like, why? There was this video. It was like a parody video. A woman was like, why would I want to be working 10, 12 hours a day when I could just be home and have lunch with my friends, because my husband works. And one woman was like, I work for an architect company working in building kitchens. And she's like, and I don't even have time to be home and cook in my own kitchen. It was just very funny video.
It's funny.
But this is the trade-off.
I was going to say, like, the trade-off, like, if people were to sit down and actually look at if it makes sense, because, like, if you're working so much and he's working so much, you really can't take care of the house. Now you have to pay maybe a cleaning company to come do the house. You can't get to the landscaping, so you have to pay a landscaping company to come do the house. Not to mention you're paying somebody to watch your kids. Like, does it make sense? Does
Right.
it make sense? Because at one point, me and him were both working full time, and we had all 3 kids. We had Carissa in after school care.
Yeah.
We had Lana and Maya in daycare.
Yeah.
Actually, I think did we have Carissa? Yeah, we had Carissa at one point was in before school care.
Oh, yeah, I remember
at
that.
school all day long,
Yeah.
and then after school care.
Yeah.
Because we both worked so much.
That was tough.
That was like the hardest
That was really tough.
time.
Yeah.
And that was in like the town we live right next to now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I still love that town, but when we go through it, it does bring back a lot of bad memories because we really struggled.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had to do that to our oldest, who's 25 now. She was in before school care, school all day, and then after school care.
Yeah.
It was not a good
And
setup.
it wasn't cheap.
She could not get her homework done. She was stressed out. She would cry every night because like she was in after school care, couldn't do her homework at after school care because the kids were crazy in after school care.
Yeah.
So she didn't necessarily get her homework done. So she'd have to come home after being in after school care and do her homework. And I remember her like crying.
Right.
Like she had to
And it was hard to-
pull
even
a
that was
really
hard to
long
afford.
day. So it's like, man, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. So I have some screenshots. So our last podcast we talked about feminism in the church. And then there was a clip. I should have had the clip ready here.
Yeah,
for you.
I thought you were gonna kind of play the
But
clip.
that's all right. I mean, if you go on our TikTok or on our Instagram, you'll see it. It's we're reviewing a video where the guy talks about raising strong daughters, but not independent daughters. And I said, I agree. I want my daughters to grow up and be strong because I want them to be strong mothers, strong wives, juggling the house, juggling the kids, and
Be able to handle
leaning
it.
and
Yep.
being able to still lean on your husband, focus on God. Even if she did want to still work, right? I was agreeing with stuff like that, but I don't want her to be independent. I want her to be dependent on her husband.
Yeah, why would you want to be independent of your husband?
I don't want her if she's in trouble. If she's in trouble,
You should be able to depend.
I want her to count on her husband
Absolutely.
because I'm not going to be able to protect her
Yeah.
forever, and she depends on me.
Yeah.
Why would I want her? Why would I, when she gets married and I give her off to her husband, why would I want her not to feel dependent on him? It's like, what's the point? So here's a couple of So there was a couple of comments. So first one, this woman says, so I scratched out her name just because I just, So she says, if God forbid something happens and her husband passes away, wouldn't it be awful for her to have to rush into another marriage for survival? Or what if he is in an accident and can't work? All right, I like this one. Wow. I like this one because there's a solution for this. Here's the thing. When you get married, it's really sad that there are people getting married thinking this probably won't be forever.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about like
Why get married?
like when you think it, you manifest it. Isn't
Right.
that like a thing that people say? Like think it, manifest it.
Women think that.
Yeah. Like
No,
why are
but-
you thinking like that? You're dooming your marriage.
Well, they're thinking that manifesting it in a way, they already have a negative thing where something goes wrong. They go, well, I guess this is over then. And then they end it when things isn't 100%, roses, when hard times come,
yeah, they just-
instead of going through hard times with my husband and fighting through this and working through this, I'm going to divorce him and go through hard times alone.
yeah. Like divorce isn't hard.
So, so the solution, we are teaching our daughters to obviously to choose the right guy, choose the right man, who also we're Christians. So a man who is a follower of Christ, somebody who is obedient and submissive to God, because if she has a man like that, it'll be easier for her to follow him and trust him and be able to depend on him, because he's going to depend on her too. I depend on my wife to keep my kids alive.
It's kind of a big role.
I depend on her to make sure I don't lose all my socks.
Oh, your socks. What the heck?
Things like, I depend on her. So there is no man out there going, I'm strong and independent man. No man
No
does
man
that.
says that.
Men are like, no, we need women. And then women thinks it's a flex. We don't need men, but they need us. First of all, you need men. You're lying to yourselves.
Yeah,
that's a terrible flex.
That's a massive lie.
That's a terrible
Massive.
flex.
Yeah.
So that takes care of that, right? Teaching my daughter to choose the correct guy and to teach her to always work on your marriage. Always work on your marriage, and to choose a man who believes to always work on your marriage as well. Second, get a life insurance policy. I have a life
yeah.
insurance policy. I'm looking to up it, because if God forbid I don't come home one day, I want the house to be paid off and her to still have money left over to stay home. So that's something you need to talk to your spouse about.
Yeah, if somebody depends on your income to survive, you need life insurance.
Yeah. Men, I always tell young married men, I always tell them this. I'm like, hey, you need to get a life insurance policy, because you don't want your wife to be out, especially if you have kids with her, you don't want her to be out on the street.
If something were to happen.
You still want to be able to her to still live in the same house. And so so there's the solution right there. And to jump into a marriage just so that's a terrible thing to do.
That part of the comment was insane.
It's like that's what she's teaching her. If she has kids, if she has a daughter,
that what you
that's
would
what she's
teach your
teaching.
daughter, just to like jump onto another man just so he can pay for your living?
Yeah.
Like, first off, like, no. So she's talking about me in that comment, and I would just like to say, no, I wouldn't do that. Second off, I wouldn't have to do that because, like he says, life insurance. And he's gonna, make sure that everything is set up because he's a good leader and a good provider, and that's who I chose to be my husband. So,
And we work on our marriage.
yeah,
We're not going to be like, you know what, this isn't going well.
yep,
We're done.
we're done. We're growing in opposite directions. It's such a crock.
Yeah. All right. So here's the next one. This woman says, you absolutely can't have both. Don't raise women who needs a man. You raise one that wants one but doesn't need one. There is a difference. The husband and wife are equals. It's a partnership.
Oh my. Okay.
It's a partnership.
It's all the stuff we hate in one comment.
Yeah. It's really crazy, especially, you know, she's raising her daughter. What's she say here? She says she's always told her daughter to have a job and to oh wait, nope, wrong one.
Nope, wrong one.
So right here. She says
Don't raise
your women who
don't
needs a
raise
man.
women. So don't raise your children to need a man.
I mean, like I said before, I wouldn't want to raise my daughter to not need a man.
I need my husband.
I want her to need her husband.
Anybody
I want her to.
Anybody who's married and can sit there and say, I don't need him. Like, what's going on in your marriage?
If when you say if a woman says to a man, I don't need you, I want you, a man would think that I'm not important to you then. I'm not important. If I was important, you would need me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just like an object where like I don't need an Xbox, but I want one. It's really imagine a man saying that to a woman. She would not like it. No woman would want that. Why do you think a man would be okay with that? Men want to be needed, just like a man needs a woman.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
the
hey, I want to have
The
a
difference is men admit it. Women, like, they won't admit it that you need. I will scream it from the rooftops. Like, I depend on him. He depends on me. Like, this is what a marriage is.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's, like, embarrassing for any wife to say, this man right here, I need him.
And
You've
like I
built a life together. How
Remember-
do you not need him?
right, exactly. I remember how I said that single mothers raise single mothers. Mm-hmm. It's probably what this woman's probably a single mother. Mm-hmm. And she's probably raising a single mother, future single mother,
And then
which is
she
unfortunate.
says, men and women are equal. We are not.
Yeah, we're not
we
partners.
we are not equal, but we are equally important.
Well, here's the thing about
We
the
are
50-50.
not equal. The 50-50 thing.
It's, it's this 50-50 thing. It's like, all right, so say if he makes 150 and she makes 50 and your mortgage is $2,000. So she's going to pay $1,000. That's 50. That's 50%. She's making $50,000 a year. She's going to pay $1,000 a month.
He's going to pay the other.
And then, she's going to have to pay her own car payment. And then grocery shopping, she's going to have to pay half of that. The electric bill, the gas bill, the taxes.
50-50, right?
She's going to pay for that. Oh, when they go on vacation, say if they wanted to go on $10,000 vacation, it's $5,000. She's going to pay half of that. She's going to have to pay for all the oil changes, the insurance in her car, her cell phone bill.
It's not
when they go
equal.
when they go out to dinner, split the bill evenly.
Men and women are different.
I mean, are they gonna? And they're like, well, that's not what 50. Then what is it?
What the heck does 50-50
To me,
mean then?
50-50 means half and half.
half.
So no
Hello.
couple, there is no couple that does 50-50. There is none.
No.
So like you switch making dinner every other night.
Maybe.
Does he only do his laundry
Maybe.
and you
They
do?
might.
Does he only do his laundry and you do yours?
Some people, yeah.
Do you clean half of the house? Be like, all right, you're gonna clean the bedrooms and the upstairs bathroom. I'm gonna clean the living room, the kitchen, and the downstairs bedroom, and then we'll take half of the basement. You clean this half, I clean this half. I'm gonna mow this half of the lawn, you mow that half of the lawn. When it snows, you shovel your car. I'm gonna shovel mine. I'm gonna shovel the side of the driveway that my car is. You shovel the side
what
of the
is
driveway
that?
that you. That's to me. That's 50-50.
And it all sounds extremely selfish. I'm only going to do for me. You only do for you. That way we get 100% done, but we're each only doing 50.
Yeah.
But I'm only doing for me. I'm not doing for you.
Yeah.
That's why like the whole like laundry, we had like a whole conversation on Facebook about laundry like explode one time in the comments. Well, why can't he do his own laundry? Well, he doesn't know how to do laundry. Yeah. Oh, he knows how to do laundry, but why should he have to? Why don't you want to help him out? He takes things off of your shoulders. You don't want to take things off of his shoulders? And then especially in our case where I'm home. Are you kidding me? He's going to come home after working a 12-hour shift and I'm going to say, I did all of our laundry. Yours is right there. Have at it. Or I cooked all of us dinner. You can go cook your own dinner. Why? Selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish. And like, you're just trying to like, what? Make a point? I'm not your maid. No, I'm not his maid. I'm his wife.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really.
Like, why don't you want to do those things for your husband? Your husband does things for you. They're not, this is why I say it's not equal. He's not doing the same things that you do. So like you're mad that he doesn't do those things, but he's not doing those things because he's doing other things that also contribute to keeping the household together and keeping everything running smoothly. He's doing other things. You're doing those things. He's doing those things, and it keeps everything running smoothly. He's not doing the things you do because you're doing them. And then when it comes to partnership, let me read you the definition. A partnership is a business structure where two or more people share ownership and responsibility for a company. Is your marriage a company? Is it a business transaction?
It only does when you get a divorce.
When you call your marriage, this is why we hate it so much. When you call your marriage a partnership, you are downgrading what it means to be married. It is not a partnership. It is so much more. So much more.
Yeah.
It literally says
Not
ownership and responsibility for a company. Partners contribute money, property, labor, or skills and share in the profits. It's literally a business transaction.
Yeah, I like how you said that. Like union, marriage union, partnership. It's like a downgrade. This
It's a
is
downgrade.
marriage. This is a union. This is two people who vowed to live their life together, create a family, and build a legacy. A partnership, we live together and we share bills.
Yeah, you're just roommates.
Yeah.
That's what you're downgrading it to. That's why the term drives us crazy, because it takes marriage and makes it this big
Right.
when it is not.
Right. So we're going to go on to the last one here. So this one, I don't know what happened there.
My button's not working. Nope. What's this? Nope,
It's this
that's
one.
it. Yep. Nope, we already did that one too. Provided.
Okay, yeah. So it says here, I've always told my daughter that I want her to have a job that will provide her the ability to leave any relationship without fear of financial issues. Independence able. This is sad. This is really sad. This is you're basically telling your daughter no relationship is ever going to work.
No.
So make sure you live like a man.
I'm already banking on you being divorced.
Yeah.
This is what you're telling your daughter.
Yeah.
I'm already ready for when you get divorced. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Instead of teaching, like he said before, instead of, like in our household, he is the model of what a husband should look like and behave like, and the role that a husband plays within a household. He is a real life model. So he is modeling that every day for my 3 girls. And then also like just, explaining what you should be looking for to be able to find the right guy to marry. Leadership qualities, morals, values, goals, faith, provider, you know, all the things. Teach your daughter
Yeah.
what she should be looking for in a man that will create a good husband for her, instead of telling her there's no good men, you're not going to find one, and I'm already counting on you being divorced.
Yeah, I mean,
How
it's
toxic.
it's so crazy how these women are teaching their daughters, just in case you get a divorce, do this, instead of being like, look,
Let's prevent
you
that.
vow to be with your husband, you made vows, you got to work on your marriage. Divorce should be the last resort. You know to work on your marriage, and you need to work on it every day. From the moment you say I do, you work on that marriage every day. Anything goes wrong, you better fight. Both of you
Fix
better
it.
fight
Fix it.
and fix it, and not anybody influence your marriage.
You're not going to like the statistics
But-
on children from divorced families,
Which we went through in a
which
past
we've already
episode.
been through, and it's some scary stuff.
Yeah, so
you fight for your marriage.
So I would say most likely this woman, that woman here, I would say most likely she's a single mom, because I'm not saying there could be a woman that's married teaching her daughter this. It probably is,
Able.
but most likely this is probably a single mom.
There's no such term
And
as
it's
independence
teaching her
able, by
daughter-
the way. You can't just like make up terms.
And it's teaching her daughter on how to be a future single mom or divorcee. And it's really sad because you don't see men teaching their daughters this. You see men teaching their daughters, this is the kind of man you want to be with, because men are protectors. So men want their daughters to be always protected. I will always protect my daughters even when they're married. I'm going to be there. Obviously, I really pray and hope that they choose good husbands. That's why I'm teaching them to choose good husbands that will always be there for them and protect them. But I will be there also, because I want her husbands to know, hey, you're going to protect my daughter. You got me to back up. But also, I'm going to be there if you screw up. Right? So it's just like you don't see that. You don't see that anymore. It's just really sad.
It is.
It's really sad just to see these moms teaching their daughters
How to be single.
Yeah. It's sad.
And
this
women
is- it's
nowadays
it's
are
the
probably
modern woman.
thinking, well, what's so bad about being single? We don't need no man. You're lying to yourself.
You got more women.
You are lying.
You got more modern women regretting being feminine, being a feminist, and living the single life and having their career. You don't see a lot of women in their 40s and 50s and 60s who have built a life, built a family, and regretting it. Oh, I regret marrying my husband and building a family. You don't see a lot of women doing that.
I love when I see these videos going around that talking about, oh, married women with children are the most depressed women.
It's not true.
It's a lie.
It's not true.
It's a lie. That is not true.
Yeah.
And I've literally seen videos going around social media that state that, and
Yeah.
I just laugh.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I just laugh.
It's nothing to back that up. It's
So-
just woman who's a feminist and just
Yeah, just
throwing. Yeah,
you know, like human beings were literally not built to be alone. So
No.
when you're alone, you try to fill it with other things like cats,
yeah, yeah.
but it's never going to fill it.
No.
So
No, it's not. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to another episode, and be sure to follow us on Instagram. We have a joint one, but also follow us individual on Instagram and on TikTok as well. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and the like button. All right, so you'll know when more episodes. We're trying to release it on Tuesday, every Tuesday. It's getting hard. I know Wednesdays,
hard.
but we're trying to get back on track. We're trying, like I said, I'm trying to schedule my weeks so we can kind of do this because we want to take this more seriously. So, but thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
peace.
Peace.